The Justin Robert Young program brought to you as always by everybody who supports us at PayJuryDaily.com. Again, PayJuryDaily.com leads you to our Patreon. You want to get your name shouted out at the end of the show? Well, then head on over there. You just want to support the show? Head on over there too. PayJuryDaily.com. And our live South by So Wasted event in Austin, Texas. That is March 9th. You can see myself and Brian Brushwood do the Night Attack show. You can see the Ice Cream Social podcast record live. You can see the first ever stage performance of the Modern Rogue. You can listen to Dual Core. You can listen to the Possum Posse. And you can see our cavalcade of special guests. Well, there's only one way to get tickets. Podcastlink.com/Night Attack. If you're on an iOS device, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and pause this podcast or don't. Trigger Siri and just say podcastlink.com/Night Attack. Try it. You're going to get right to that page. You're going to be able to get a ticket to the show. They're cheap. $18 for 3 hours of entertainment. We're over-delivering. All right. That's how we support the show, though. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Oh, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe it. I can't believe that we are at the end of our Neon Signs week already. Next time we do this, I'll tip you guys off before. I won't start it on Monday. I'll start it on Sunday. I'll let you guys know so we can roll into it because we're clearing it all out. We're clearing everything out today. No high thoughts this week. No regular emails. No, well, we are going to do news. But other than that, it's going to be all high thoughts throughout this episode because we got to clear them out. We're done doing it for the week. Let me just say something about this bit. Because I knew it was popular, but I never really understood exactly why. Beyond the fact that it's sexless sex stories, basically. Like you're getting everything up to sex and then you're getting a very awkward moment. So you can laugh at it, right? But kind of get a little horny and then mostly laugh. You can ejaculate with chuckles. But somebody went and hit me up on Twitter today and said that Neon Signs is in its own weird way like the opposite of the horror of Me Too stories. That we are the comedy mask to the tragedy mask that is a horrifying reminder of people taking advantage of each other, if not worse, in workplaces and inverted power dynamics and stuff like that. These are consensual sexual moments that just never happen by way of people missing signs as opposed to producing the idea that they are going to hunt for signs. So I don't know what it is about it, but it certainly makes me happy that this show can be the hub of these such stories. And I always am heartened whenever I get it in the chat room or on Twitter or via email that these stories made me feel better about myself. These stories made me feel like I wasn't just the most awkward person on the planet. These stories made me understand that life can be funny when you are maybe not the happiest in how you reacted to something. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the only segment that's not going to be Neon Sign Stories, and that, of course, is news. is an example of what isn't a neon sign story. All right, here's the news. This isn't a neon sign story. I drove home for a visit to see a college football game, and all the crew that I went with went on a nice trip to the zoo to see their Zoo Lights Christmas feature. Afterwards, we went up to a favorite bar to do some drinking. Finally, two of us ended up back at her place to watch a movie. We cuddled, enjoyed some more drinks, watched the movie. It got around 1 a.m, and we agreed it was time for bed. I started to grab my jacket and keys so I could go back to my dad's house, and she said, "You know, you could just stay here." Neon sign flickering. I agreed and proceeded to put my stuff back down. She went into the bathroom, and I laid down on the couch. She came back out and said, "You know, you don't have to sleep out there." Neon sign buzzing. I proceeded to get into bed with all of my clothes, minus a shoes and jacket, still on. We cuddled, and she eventually said, "I just can't sleep with sweatpants on. Is it okay if I take them off?" Neon sign exploding. We then went back to cuddling. The entire time I was thinking, this is pretty nice. Not once thinking about sex. She eventually looks at me and says, "So, is this happening?" Friends, if you are a listener to this show, then you know this is the canonical moment in a neon sign story when our protagonist says something awkward, something weird, something dismissive, something at the very least to show disinterest, comically, that he is not reading the neon signs. And indeed, even now, when he's lying with a naked woman in bed, cuddling her, and she's saying, "Is this happening?" he's going to find some way to deny himself a consensual sexual activity. The reason why this is not a neon sign story is the next sentence that is written is, "Green light, your boy got some." My dude, come on. Like, we're having a festival. We're having a no one gets laid festival, right? Like, literally, you can go, you can figure it out any way you want. But we're having a no one gets laid festival. The one way that you can ruin it is by walking in and just telling a conventional story about how you fuck somebody. This isn't called bragging signs. It's called neon signs. Boo earns. This is not a neon sign either, but at least this one's really funny. I believe I might be a bit late for the neon sign stories, but I thought I may throw out this story for your segment. I know you get most of your stories from guys, but I thought I might share this one from a woman's point of view. Oh. I'm not even sure if it would even classify as a neon sign story, but here it is anyway. It doesn't, but it's good. A couple of years back, me and this guy would hang out from time to time. Not really dating, but there was some casual sex involved. I didn't want to make things official, as there was something about him that I wasn't really feeling, but I enjoyed spending time with him. One evening, while at my place, we were having sex. It was getting good, and I was well into it until things turned weird. He was on top of me. Suddenly, he places his hands on top of my head for leverage, I suppose, and with each deep thrust, he screams out, "Let me be your man!" Thrust. "Let me be your man!" Thrust. "Let me be your man!" He screamed, "Let me be your man!" until he climaxed. I laid there and gave him a blank stare. I guess he was expecting me to yell out, "Yes, yes, be my man!" But no, I was quiet, and I just stared at him like he lost his ever-loving mind. Afterwards, I thought it was best to stop hanging out with him, as I didn't want to give him the notion that there was a possibility that I wanted him to be my man? So this is not the emailer writes, was that a neon sign? Did he want to be my man, or was that a neon sign of another kind? What's your opinion? He wanted to be your man. You made the right call. Unless you wanted another. It's an odd thing. Look, many times male emotions get repressed in different ways. They wind up leaking out in bizarre instances. I can appreciate this man's perspective. I indeed have been the what I would like to consider myself, rad stunt dick. Not somebody that you'd want to date, but certainly somebody that you wouldn't mind fucking here and again. And boy, howdy, did your boy, Justin Robert Gerbils, catch a little bit of the feelings. I guess it's human nature after all. You always want what you can't have. And, oh man, I don't even know if I can. This story is too long for me to tell. One of these days, remind me to tell the story about how I may or may not have gotten robbed by a bunch of people because I really wanted to make it something more. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin our final installment of Neon Sign. Scoop of Faith writes, it starts with me getting married right out of high school, and then my wife leaving me with our son for a guy she met on the internet. Being a single father at 21 years old was not exactly great for my self-esteem. I started to work at a factory to support the two of us, and shortly after that, a new girl started as well. We'll call her Bree to protect the innocent. Bree was model pretty, and I mean that literally. She was a model who got knocked up by one of the guys working at a runway. This being 2001 and there being no fancy computer stuff at her level, so as soon as she had kids and stretch marks, therefore she was out of the business. I know all this because her kids were 3 months apart in age. Our kids were 3 months apart in age, and we became friends. Talking 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 1.5 years created a bond. I don't know where things changed or how she viewed me but I was insecure at the time. First, it started with her telling me how she realized how stupid her boyfriend was and that she wants a smart guy like me. Second, she gave me modeling pictures that she had done herself because she wanted me to have it. She then told me how her brother stole some of the pictures to give his friends because they wanted to masturbate to her. Third, she mentions that something that she doesn't like about herself. I say she looks good and she doesn't need to worry about it. Her response, you should see me naked. No, really, you should see me naked. End quote. Lastly, on the machine that we were both working on, one day her jeans get caught. She tells me that it is in the crotch and then parts the hole to show me what I think of her underwear. Her camel toe was so prevalent, I now, in hindsight, want to go back in time and kick my own ass. Robert writes, these Neon Stein stories should be called the Blue Balls Ballads. Not a bad title. Islander Steve writes, one night I get back from work near midnight and she's the only one in my apartment, which wasn't a super rare thing, but when I got home, I asked where everybody was. She said that they had all gone out to get food and stuff, but she didn't want to go, so she was waiting until everyone got back. I told her, cool. I was going to take a shower because I felt sweaty and gross after a long day of work. Now, This is during the 90s, so the drought wasn't really a huge thing in the Bay Area. So I used to take super long showers, 30 plus minutes sometimes, to relax. I got out of one of those super long showers when she followed me to my room. I had only my boxers on and a towel around my neck. She asked me, do I always take showers that are that long? I replied, sometimes, to which she asked why. I told her it just felt good to have the hot water on me. It helped relax me after a long day. She then completely asked out of the blue if I wanted a massage. And me being the obvious nerd I was back then, I was super stoked at getting a massage. The girl doing it was just the vessel for the massage, after all. She first asked if I had lotion, which of course I did. Then told me to lay down, which I did on my stomach. She then proceeded to climb on top of me and give me this spectacular massage. Now, she did such an amazing job, I literally fell asleep at some point, and I woke up the next morning feeling amazing. I asked my roommate the next day if she saw Maria when he got back. He said he only found me asleep when he got back. After that day, Maria and I were always friendly with each other, but I never got offered another massage again, nor did she ever bring up that night. I once asked her if she was in a massage-giving mood, to which I got a glare of death, so yeah. Nate writes, just for a bit of context, I'm a college freshman and I've never officially had a girlfriend. Last year, when I was a senior in high school, I had a very cute friend who I know had a crush on me a couple years ago. She had a boyfriend who was a bit older and in college. They were experiencing a few difficulties. One day we sat next to each other during an assembly. We got there early, so we chatted about stuff, including her boyfriend. Then after a little while, she said to me that she was tired and laid her head on my shoulder. I jokingly asked if she was comfortable, and she responded yes, which I knew was a flat-out lie, seeing that I'm very skinny and you can feel my collarbone. Oh, my boy, my boy. I never said anything after that, and I just let her rest her head, mainly because I know she still had a boyfriend, and I didn't want to be that guy. Do you think I should have done something? They eventually patched up, and they are still dating. Oh, my boy, Nate. Nate, my boy. Oh, no. All right, Nate, let me hit you to some life game here. Number one, anytime a girl puts her fucking head on your shoulder, she's comfortable. Doesn't matter if you're the goddamn Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper was a character on a show called Tales from the Crypt. You can probably find it on YouTube. Moving on. That indeed was not a neon sign quite in the way that we've been talking here, where women were literally throwing pussy at these people. But this is certainly a good sign. This is a sign that somebody is interested in you. You need to stop. Here's my biggest thing for you, Nate. And we're all right. We're going to turning off the neon sign for a second, just so me and you can talk. You want to know what? Here, come on. Let's go ahead. I'm bringing it. I'm bringing the camera in. Here we go. And you want to know what? I'm even going to give you. I'm going to give you the. This is not the Poop Buffet song. This is just the most wholesome song I have on the board. Nate, come here. Number one, you need to stop thinking for other people. This young lady decided to put her head on your shoulder, so the only thing you should be worrying about is how you feel about her head on your shoulder. The more you're thinking about how she must be uncomfortable because you have a very skinny shoulder, the less you're thinking about, well, do I want to engage with her? Do I want to have a relationship with her? Do I want to kiss her? This is the end of high school, my boy. the end of high school. Fucking movies, television shows, books are written about settling scores at the end of high school. This is something that's drilled into you for years. Now, the good news is you're in college now. There's a lot of shit written about that, too. So take this as a lesson. Stop thinking about how other people think. Start thinking how you think. And if you really enjoyed her having her head on your shoulder, which, by the way, you wrote that email, I'm assuming you did, then start thinking about how it could be more comfortable and whether or not you should put your arm around her. Ain't no goddamn crime about that, even if somebody has a boyfriend. Well, you know, people get cold. If she wanted to escalate things past that, then she could have. Nate, I believe that one day you will be beyond this, and eventually you will write in a full-fledged neon sign story where you've gotten past this point, you have somebody literally tossing vagina at you, and you have no clue how to catch it. I look forward to your future email. My boy! All right, let's get back to it. Anonymous writes, it was the summer between 7th and 8th grade. I was enrolled in a theater program at our local library, and there was a girl named Rhonda who was 2 years older than me. We were in the library before rehearsal, and I was reading a copy of the Dark Knight comic in hardcover for the 10th time when Rhonda came over to show me a YA novel she was reading. The passage started with a girl having her boobs played with and about touching a penis for the first time. It went into detail about the penis becoming erect as she played with it. Her partner then ejaculated. Rhonda looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Is that true? Is that how it works?" I had figured out that trick about 6 months prior, so I hesitantly looked her in the eyes and said, "Yes. I'd like to see that." She finished and then invited me to come read some more in the theater backstage area. I looked her right in the eyes and said, "I have to finish this comic." So I declined. Windwalker Scoop said, this is my neon sign, but I'm kind of glad I didn't realize it at the time. I was skipping work one Friday, and I went to go visit a friend. She was married. She was a married woman about 15 years older than me. We were chatting on her couch, and things got emotional as she was going on about how her marriage was not going well. In a moment of closeness, she's holding my face, looking me right in my eyes, so I reached around and cuddled her close. I totally missed the glaring sign that I should have kissed her and taken it further. Windwalker Scoop, you, congratulations, have earned yourself the first successfully avoided neon sign. Guys, we are going to wrap up neon signs for the week with this story. And I got to say, it's immediately a first ballot Hall of Famer. I got to tell you, it's great. It's really, really good. Josh writes, during this time, another former roommate / girl I liked, we will call her Marla, had recently broken up with her boyfriend. One night after the bars and a lot of sexual tension between us, Marla and I ended up making out and getting into it a little bit. But she cut it short, saying her friend, Lily, would be upset if she found out we boned. I was pretty disappointed, as a college boy would be, so I left and walked back to my house through the cold Wisconsin night, which felt good on my blue balls. A few days later, Marla said she was having some friends over to watch movies in her dorm room and told me I should come. Keep in mind, this is nothing out of the ordinary. I figured it was another standard night that would turn into a drinking game. When I arrived, it was just Lily and Marla in her dorm room. We proceeded to start watching the first movie of the night, Moulin Rouge. Since no one else was showing up, we drank and listened to Ewan McGregor's dope-ass voice and chilled. It got a little late. No one wound up showing up. We got drunk, and I was invited to stay there the night. Okay, cool. I grabbed my jacket and covered myself with it on the couch, while Marla and Lily took the bed. It's a dorm, so the couch is right next to the bed. After a few minutes, Marla tells me I can come lay in bed because, quote, it's a lot warmer in here. I was kind of cold. After all, I just had my jacket covering me. So I took her up on the offer. They had me take the middle spot so I could warm up. In hindsight, they were being really, really touchy-feely without being completely overt about their intentions. Not long after, I fell the fuck asleep. It was nice and cozy with my friends rubbing me, and what the fuck, I'm an idiot. I'm even more appalled I didn't pick up on what was going on while I'm writing it to you. Fuck, no. Neon signs. Neon threesome. He got a neon sign to a threesome.
Why is there more here left to see?
I want to thank our producers, The Jen, Petey Rave, Non-Specific, Rock and Roll Martian, Joe Acosta, Will, James, the OG Brito, Will, Matthew B, Dustin, BioCal, Robert H, Brian C, M, Trey the Melodica Man, and Adam, along with middle-aged Mike. You can send me your emails, jurydaily@gmail.com. Again, jurydaily@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Justin R. Young. And you can join our Discord at bit.ly/jurydiscord. Thank you to everybody who wrote in neon signs this week. This is always one of my favorite segments ever. You guys made it totally worth it. Next week, I'm going to bring a big decision to you guys. I think it's time that I might break up with United Airlines. You will help me decide. It happens next week. But until then, please go ahead and give it a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. But more importantly, friends, please don't die!
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.